How's it going? Chairman in the house. Chairman in the house. Waiting patiently. Thanks for being here. Thanks for always being here. You're the best. Who else we got in here? A couple of you. All right. Well, welcome to the live stream. We let a few more people hopefully jump in. Give you a little introduction. I'm Dude. And since about March 16th, I've been on a weight loss journey. These live streams are to have a conversation, share a little bit about my weight loss journey, share a little bit about myself, answer questions anyone may have. And so far, so good. We're down about 32 pounds or so. And we're doing good. Hit a new low this morning, so that's good. Made a video yesterday about, what was my video about yesterday? Woo! It was about, It was about how sometimes you do really good, then you hit a little bump and the scale bumps up a little bit. Monday morning I was 227.4. Woke up Tuesday morning, the scale said 228.3, about a 0.9 difference. And your mind starts jumping around and playing tricks on you. So that's kind of what yesterday's video was about. But I wasn't worried because I know we all have fluctuations. So today, woke up 227.0. So, just those little fluctuations. And so we're just trying to build another solid week. Hopefully get a couple pounds down by next Monday's official weigh-in. And that's how it goes. It just kind of goes up and down. So we'll see if anyone else jumps in here. Sharon, thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Hope you're having a good evening. Who else is here? Anybody? Tonight's topic is what would you tell your 25-year-old self? So kind of like what do you know? What do you know now that you wish you would have known then, right? Now this could go for all sorts of topics. So weight loss is actually, weight loss, nutrition, our body. That'll be part of the discussion tonight. But there's a lot of areas that covers, right? Most of my audience is, I hate to say elderly, but wiser in their years. Let's put it that way. And if you're just jumping in, go ahead and introduce yourself, say hello. And then we're going to get kind of going in the main topic here in just a couple of minutes. We usually like to give everyone a couple of minutes to show up before we dive in. JC, how's it going? Shares, well, I was stupid at 25. Oh boy, you and me both. Man, oh man, was I a dummy at 25. So, we're going to talk about that. Of course, we've got a little interactive game. So, for those of you who are here, we're going to need you to participate in the comments. And did I dye my hair? No, that is all natural. Quite impressive, isn't it? Bogey Mogi. You've now been moderated by the chairman. Chairman's not messing around. That's what I like about him. So, but no, to answer the question, I don't dye my hair. That's natural. I probably started going gray in my 30s sometime, and it was kind of like that yellow gray for a while. I will use that purple shampoo from time to time, and that just kind of keeps it nice and bright, silvery white, but yeah, it's all me. What's the funny thing about that is, and this is not a brag, this is just interesting. I'll get compliments on my hair all the time. And people will ask that question, like, do you color your hair, or what color do you your hair? I'm like, old age, So, John, welcome. Hello to Arizona. Thanks for being here. But yeah, we were at Disneyland one day. I always tell my wife, like, no, someone else made a comment about my hair today. And she's like, whatever, dude. No, they don't. She didn't believe me. And we're at Disneyland for 2 days. And we're in a store. And this dude kind of kept walking by me. And the guy's wife walks up and she goes, I just have to tell you, my husband has been literally like worshiping your hair for the last 2 days. We've seen you guys all over the park, and every time he points it out. And my wife is like, what? I'm like, told you. I don't know. It happens. So it was funny. It's kind of a joke now. Anyway, we're about 5 minutes in, so I want to kind of jump into tonight's topic, but got some notes here. Handy dandy note taking and a little help with ChatGPT. But here's the bottom line. Here's tonight's topic. And this is more of an interactive, so I'm really not, thank you. This is meant to be more of a discussion, so I hope you guys will participate. And like I said last week, a lot of people will come back and watch the replay. We don't get huge audiences live, but a lot of the people that are in the community will go back and watch, usually get, 300-400 views, something like that on the lives. But live, we don't get a ton that really come and show up. So the more you guys participate, I think the better it makes for the replay as well. So, but the kind of the premise of tonight is if you could sit down with your 25-year-old self, maybe for 10 minutes, what would you tell them? What are some of the things that you would desperately want to tell your younger self? If you got any ideas, go ahead and leave a comment, and maybe that'll spark some discussion. But I know there's a bunch for me. But here's the interesting thing. Like, I don't know if my 25-year-old self would actually listen. Every now and then I get called arrogant in the comments, and I don't really think I'm arrogant anymore. But like, I think our 25-year-old selves probably were a lot more entitled and arrogant and unknowing of the future. Chairman says, I tell myself not to be so scared to speak to people. It took me a long time to get over that, dude. Yeah, man, I was painfully shy. I still got a brother-in-law. I got a brother-in-law. Kodiak, welcome. I still got a brother-in-law. He's one of those guys. He's got the gift of gab. And which is funny because I've been in sales my whole life. So you put me in like a situation or a presentation type situation, whatever, or, I'm not afraid. I'm not shy or whatever. But just in the sake of out in public, right? My brother-in-law, we could be in Hawaii. We were in Hawaii once together. We were hiking on a trail. He's making friends all up and down the trail. He's the guy that's at Disneyland talking to everyone around him that's in line. And I'm definitely more. I'm a little bit more painfully shy until you get. If you ever meet me by any weird chance, for some reason, you're at Disneyland the same time as I am or something, and you see me and come talk to me, don't be surprised if I'm socially awkward. It's kind of how it is, So, yeah, Sharon says, I wouldn't have listened. I was all about partying. Sharon's a party girl, huh? Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't think I would have listened either. I'll give you an example. But again, if you're tuning in, the topic is kind of what do you understand now that you wish you would have understood at 25? Well, one of those specific examples, this is actually kind of a funny, I should make this a story time for my kids. But anyway, okay, credit cards, financial, right? The trap, the money pit, interest. I didn't understand any of it, right? And I think a lot of kids don't, even youth today. I think some of my kids are definitely better than at their age than I was at that age. I remember my wife and I got married pretty young. We were married young. I was 21. I think she was 19. A couple years later, we were renting a little one side of a duplex. And I remember there was this store called Incredible Universe. Anyone remember that? I don't think they were around very long. I think Best Buy kind of took over and kicked them out. You know what I mean? But Incredible Universe. And I remember we went back to Sacramento where I grew up, and my mom and dad were still living there. And my wife and I go to Incredible Universe. We had no idea. All we knew was we needed like a washer and dryer. So for our little apartment duplex thing. And we had no clue, dude. So we applied for the Incredible Universe credit card. You know where this is going, right? Same day approval while we're in the store, you know, and I can't even remember. I think they approved us for like $1,800 or something. It wasn't very much. We were poor. We didn't make any money. And I remember we went straight to the washer and dryer aisle, talked to a sales guy, you know, I put this one on the account, you know, we're getting that washer, that dryer, da-da-da. Well, then me, and of course her, you know, we're thinking, well, dude, that was like $700-800. You know, we still got $1,200 left. I think we were under the impression it was a cash card, right? That's how naive we were. So, this place had electronics, they had records, they had, you know, all sorts of things. I don't even remember all the crap we bought, but we maxed out that $1,800. I think I walked away with a few more records for my collection, a washer and dryer, maybe a VCR or something. I mean, this shows you how dated that is, but I mean, this is probably in about like 1996 or something. Anyway, you know, at like 27% interest rate or whatever it was, that took forever for us to pay off. And I was like, I started learning the lesson real quick. I'm like, I'm still paying for like a record that I bought 2 years ago or something, you know. The washer and dryer probably broke before that stupid credit card was paid off. But we learned our lesson on credit and debt, and we, you know, we finally got that paid down and learned the lesson. But man, if I could go back today, I would tell my 22-year-old self or whatever it was, don't be a fool. Don't fall into the trap, right? So there's one personal example. So tell me, give me one thing. If you're in the room, if you're in the chat, give me one thing that maybe you know now, but you didn't understand at age 25. Let's get the discussion going. Well, hopefully a couple of you answered that. I'm gonna move into the regular conversation. Maybe I'll spur some thoughts here while we talk. And again, if you're just tuning in, today is kind of a, what would you tell yourself, your 25-year-old self at your age? So people, let's talk about people. What relationships did you assume would just always be there? And Hulk Hogan Stites says how important credit is. Yeah, we just got done giving that perfect example. Dude, absolutely, man. How important credit is. Important to protect and important to stay out of that high interest debt. Kristen, that is quite not on topic, but no, I don't really like peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, to answer your question. Sharon says, should have been more serious about a career. Oh, absolutely, man. I was in college, then I was out of college, then I had a couple dead-end jobs, then I sang for a band for 5 years, and then I went into the sales game, and I just hey, thanks, Kristen, have a good one. And then I was in the sales game for a while, and I started making a career out of that. And so, but I remember my brother-in-law actually came to work for us, same company. He was a little bit younger than me, a few years younger than me. And after about like 2 weeks of doing the phone sales, we were burning down the phone lines, business to business, selling corporate development stuff to companies. And it was a brutal sales game back then. And we had to get very good at what we did in order to make money. But my brother-in-law sucked at it. Let's face it. If he's watching, he'd jump on and say, yeah, I did. And he goes, screw this, man. I'm going back to school. And he always wanted to be an architect. He went back to school and became an architect. And now he's like the AVP in a massive, massive medical conglomeration for the biggest hospital system in the state of Utah, biggest healthcare system in the state of Utah, and has a really, really, really good job. Makes really good money, works hard, but does very well for himself. And I go, man, I wish I would have taken that career path more seriously back then. Kodiak says, I wish I would have known investing basics, like opening a Roth IRA at 21. Oh man, absolutely. I'm 54 looking at my retirement going, am I going to be the Walmart door greeter or the Costco receipt checker for retirement, right? You know, I look like the white version of James Earl Jones. Wow. I don't know if that's a compliment or a racist. I wish I had his voice, though. I could have made a lot of money on Star Wars. Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Would you rather fight one horse-sized duck or 50 duck-sized horses? Oh, man. We got some good ones tonight, guys. Comedians. 12-year-olds are the funniest, though, right? So people, you know, what relationships did you assume would always be there? Right? I know for me, like things, marriage, were you married? Did you assume that that was always going to be there and maybe now it's not? Divorce rate is high all over the world, definitely in America. It's even worse for second marriages. So, I mean, but a marriage, right? That's one of those things where I think at a young age, maybe you go, oh, this is always going to last. I know for me, the marriage has lasted. I've been married 32 years. But I think for the naive part of me was probably like, oh, the honeymoon's going to last forever. You know, this is easy. This is great. It's not always easy. And it's not always great. I'm very thankful for my wife and for my marriage. But it's not always a walk in the park. And I definitely would have known that back then. John Bogany, I'll answer that question. Favorite book? I did a video on this. One of my favorite books is The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino. It's a very old book. It's a very thin paperback, a simple, easy read. Chapter 10 is the chapter entitled, I Will Persist Until I Succeed. That is one of my favorite chapters of all times. It's like 3.5 pages. Very inspirational, very motivational, and has pulled me through a lot of slumps when I was heavy into my sales career. To answer that question. Back to the topic. People, how about parents? You always think your parents is going to be around when you're younger? You're 25 years old, you think, you know, nothing's going to change. Both my parents have now passed away. I'm 54 years old. That's the circle of life. It happens, right? But I did not expect my dad to pass away when he was so young. He was 67. And my mom lived to be a pretty good old age of about 83, I think. It's been a little while, but yeah, in her early 80s. But you think they're going to be around forever? Friendships. What about friendships? Friendships are relationships at a young age. Man, I feel like I had tons of friends. I feel like I had all sorts of people. You know what I mean? But what's interesting is people come and go out of your life like crazy. I've probably got 3 friends that I can really count. 2 of them are from like the high school. One of them goes back to like 6th grade when we met. One of them goes back to high school when I actually moved to Utah. And one of them I met shortly after being married. Those 3 individuals are still in my life today. Very good friends. One of them I talk to all the time. One of them I call about once a month and check in. And one of them we hang out from time to time. So it's a different relationship now. But you kind of think when you're younger that all these relationships and people are just going to be there, right? And they're not. The older we get, they die. You know, your parents die, your cousins, aunt, uncles, whatever. People pass away. People move on. Grandparents are gone. You know, and other people just kind of pop in and out, maybe based on church or religious affiliations or work. Your career, where you work, who you work with. You know, a lot of times you make a really good friend at work and you think they're going to be there forever. Then next thing you know, you're working somewhere else and they're not really around anymore. They're out of your life. They're out of that circle of influence, right? And so things change. But that's definitely one thing I thought was kind of always going to be the same. Let's jump into Sharon said, I never thought youngers and brothers with sisters would pass before me. 74, and have both parents, 92 and 93. Wow. Wow. Sharon, that's crazy. So you've had younger siblings pass before you. That one's tough, dude. I'm the youngest of 5 children. Man, I hope I don't go before them. You know what I mean? No offense, but I hope we go in order, right? But that's tough. That's tough. But your parents are still alive. That's impressive, both in their 90s. Maybell, 87, catching me for the first time. Sweet. Welcome to the channel. We're primarily about weight loss and kind of my weight loss journey, to give you the 2-second introduction. Sorry you can't sleep. If you stick around, I'll probably put you to sleep because I'm not that entertaining. Maybe it'll be the lulling sound of my voice will put you to sleep. But anyway, yeah, stick around, especially if you're interested in like weight loss and the journey of life, so to speak. So, oh, you've watched all the videos, just the first time on the live. Okay, I thought I recognized your name before from comments. That's awesome. All right, good. Okay, so that's people, right? We think relationships are gonna last forever when we're young. How about time? At age 25, man, I thought a decade was like forever, right? You go, no, I'm 25 years old. When I'm like 35, I'm gonna be ancient. Then all of a sudden, dude, you're like 45, and you're like, what happened, right? I'm 54. I remember 44 like it was yesterday. It's crazy. Time, I mean, they say, the older you get, the faster time goes. I think it's just that it's the appearance of time. It's where you're standing. But it definitely, man, you don't have as much responsibility when you're young. I don't think as you're as stressed. You're more carefree, care less in your decisions, a little bit more of the throw caution to the wind and let bygones be bygones, and I'm just going to go for it. Hakuna Matata, all that kind of good stuff, right? As we get older, I think, you got pressure mounting, there's financial things, there's work things, relationship things, children things, the world is definitely a different place today. The world that my kids are experiencing is nothing like the world I experienced at, let's just say, ages 8 years old to 20, right? From playing in the streets till the sun goes down to playing dumb games like kick the can and freeze tag and all the neighborhood kids getting together and everything. Now it's just a different world. And there's part of me that's sad for them because they don't know it. But then again, there's part of me that's just an amazement of the world that we do live in. It's not all bad. You know what I mean? So time, if I could go back and tell my 25-year-old self, I'd be like, cherish the time because it's going to fly by way faster than you think. A blink of an eye, your kids are grown up. Another blink of an eye, they're all out of the house. Another blink of the eye, and man, you got grandkids. It's crazy. My first grandchild just turned 1, and I'm like, what happened? Little guy's starting to like walk, and and my daughter sent me a video the other day, and he got this little basketball hoop for his birthday. It's like the cutest freaking thing. He's got this little teeny basketball, right? And he can't really even walk across the room yet. He's getting there. He's doing different things all the time, but she sends this video, and he's holding the basketball with one hand, and the hoop's kind of in the middle of the room, and he kind of just gets lasered in on that hoop, and he walks from the couch to the middle of the room and throws the ball in. And I'm just going, what happened? I mean, he was just this little peanut in my arms, when he was born a year ago, and it's just crazy how time's moving. It's trucking. So, my advice for my younger self would be, slow down, take time to smell the roses, and enjoy the ride because it's all over too short. Number 3, money and career. Sharon kind of mentioned it. Maybe be a little bit more career oriented when I was younger. That would have been great. I think a lot of people probably feel the same way. Maybe they missed the boat, missed their calling in life, missed good opportunities they let go by because they were dumb, reckless, partying, whatever. But there's another side to that money and career. And I think looking back, I go, you know, money doesn't buy happiness. You see millionaires and rich people, celebrities, Hollywood musicians, everyone who's filthy rich. They can have whatever they want in life, and they're miserable. Um, I don't think money buys happiness, but I think money does provide options, and those options can provide some peace of mind and some happiness. But I think that you know, looking back towards my younger self, I might say, you can chase the dream, you can chase the money, but don't let the things that really matter in life pass you by. There's definitely events and trips and different things that I wish I would have done when I was younger because I was so focused on, work or career or accomplishments and things like that. So don't let the relationship slip because of the pursuit of the dreams. You know what I mean? Definitely not saying don't pursue the dreams. So we're coming up on halfway through the live stream, but shameless plug of the night. If you're watching now or later, you can always do a super chat or a super thanks on the videos if you ever want to donate to the channel. And any little bit that we can gather just goes to put back in the channel. Better camera, better mic, better equipment, things like that, make the quality better. So this is not a money maker. It's a it's a time stealer, really. But anyway, how about your body? We're all on a weight loss journey together. I would say that the majority of us here who tune in regularly to the channel, even a lot of the people who pass by, they probably click on a video. It could be because of my great head of hair, but most of the time I think it's because they go, oh, this fat guy's trying to lose weight, and I'm kind of fat too, and maybe I'd want to lose some weight too, or maybe he's experiencing something that I've experienced before and I can relate to it, things like that. And so I think, when you're younger, I probably believed, hey, I'm going to be skinny forever. Because like I said, if you saw me when I was younger, I was a stick. Hard to believe. But you think that, hey, metabolism is a lifelong thing. I don't have to nurture that. It's a gift from God. I'm always going to have great metabolic health. I'm never going to gain weight, right? Boy, if that were true. I'd be telling my younger self, hey, don't ever let yourself slip. I've got a bunch of kids. Two of them kind of struggle a little bit with their weight. And two of them are like literally, they look like fitness models. My one daughter is a professional dancer. She looks obviously very fit, takes care of herself, works out every day, eats right. My son Dallin, you guys have seen pictures of him. He's a freaking ripped, looks like a Calvin Klein underwear model. It's ridiculous how jealous. Kid's got a great bod, but very fit. I would tell my younger self, take care of it. You were given a body, take care of it. Nurture it, exercise it, take care of your metabolic health. One of the biggest things is I know for me, a skinny guy gets married, goes from skimboarding and snowboarding and soccer and sports and all sorts of different things every single day, with hanging out with all the guys, with all the friends, doing all this stuff, and then basically going to, getting married, a desk job, sitting behind a desk 8 to 10 to sometimes 11 hours a day, going home exhausted, tired, not working out. Then you start overeating, you get kids, you get, life just gets harder and harder. You get anxiety, you get stressed, and for me, I started turning to food to kind of cope. Get depressed, eat food, have anxiety, eat food. Food became the comfort instead of exercise, instead of taking care of myself. And slowly over time, and you wake up one day and you're going, holy crap, how'd this happen to me, right? So for most of us, I think it happens over time through a series of bad habits. So I can go back and tell my younger self something. I'd be like, don't take it for granted. Don't take your health for granted. Even if I could go 15 years ago, I've actually lost weight several times. oh my gosh, like just don't stop. Don't stop. You know, you got to do the right thing, and you got to do the right thing all the time. That's pretty much what the answer is. I get people sometimes argue in the comments that it's this, that, or the other. But no, it really, good health really just comes down to making good decisions, then executing those good decisions continually on a daily basis. Every day is not going to be perfect, but overall the trend has to be going in the right direction all the time. Because as soon as you stop and your habits change to bad, well, then you start getting the bad consequences. And that would be advice I'd give my younger self. Just don't do it. Just don't do it. All right, the last one on this list, then we're going to play a little game. Number 5, other people's opinions. Woo! How much time have you wasted in your life? Leave a little comment. A lot? A little? None? How much time have you wasted in your life worrying about what someone else thought? Looking backwards, how much of it actually mattered? Oh, I read a quote. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna butcher it. I don't have the stat or the quote, but the bottom line is, Sharon never cared one bit, never gave a crap. That's good. That's good. I don't know that I ever put a lot of value in like someone else's opinion of me. Like, oh, they said this, so hey John, super chat of $5. Love your content. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thanks for being a supporter and always being here. Just want to tell you I appreciate you back. Thank you, buddy. That makes a difference, and I'll take it. So I don't think I put value in what other people thought, but I think it definitely occupied some mental space, And actually, I had an epiphany. I'm not going to share this tonight, but maybe someday. Maybe it'll be a story time. I did a little bit of therapy. Had about 12 sessions with a guy. Great guy. Really enjoyed talking to him. Now, I've sold personal development stuff my whole life. So, self-help books, all this kind of stuff, kind of how the mind works, a lot of stuff, not new to me. So we were able to have really good conversations. But I over my life, I've traced back to, why do I behave the way I do? Why do I do the things I do? Why do I act the way I act or say the things I say? Why does my brain process information the way I have? And I nailed it down to 3 or 4 things, that probably a lot of people deal with when they grow up, from the time they're a child to the time they're an adult, right? And I remember our first session, I said, okay, man, here it is. I'm just going to give it to you. Boom, 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 boom. Laid it all out. We kind of worked through things. And one of those was kind of going, I kind of care sometimes what people think, right? Like, and I don't think I'm trying to, but I think was putting a little bit of value in it. And so, and obviously there's a difference between feedback that you ask for and criticism, where someone just, lashes out or criticizes you. And so I think sometimes I put value in that criticism, and literally, I through, like I said, a couple sessions talking it through, I realized, man, that just doesn't matter. What people say about you, what people think about you, it's just an opinion, and it doesn't matter. If I could go back and tell my younger self, and you may feel the same, it just doesn't freaking matter what somebody else thinks of you. I get people on here all the time. They check into the live stream and say, oh, you're fat and ugly. Or, when the channel first started, I had quite a few comments of people that are just mean, Man, I think there was one guy creating multiple accounts. He'd say, you look like you're 70. I didn't think I really looked like I was 70. I know a lot of 70-year-olds that live in my neighborhood. I don't look like those guys. But I got gray hair. I'm overweight. I get it, right? And it just didn't bother me anymore. Like, I'm not saying that you could never break through the shell or the thick skin, but I would say that for the most part, you could say you're a no good dirtbag, mother effing piece of crap. You're never going to amount to anything, blankety blank, blank, blank. And I'm just going to go, okay, thanks for your comment. Thanks for your opinion, right? Because it just, at the end of the day, what other people think doesn't matter. And sometimes we put a lot of value in maybe a particular person. Doesn't matter. But anyway, the time is clicking. We are 35 minutes in. So we're going to play tonight's game. Now this I need your participation for. So if you're listening, go to your keyboard. If you're on your phone, actually look at it and pay attention. If you're watching the replay, you can't play. So for the few of you who are here, this is a game. Now, of course, chat helped me come up with these, but it's, the game is 25 or 54. But because you're not all 54, let's just say younger or older. That's going to be what you're going to comment. Your younger self or your older self. So here's the situation. I'm going to read you this situation, and you think that you're going to tell me if your younger, you'd rather have your younger self handle the situation or your older self, just to kind of give us a general idea, right? Number one, the safe job. You've got a secure job. You don't particularly love it, and an opportunity to try something new comes along, but it's risky. Who handles it better? Younger you or older you? Come on, somebody give me an answer. Older, younger. Older, okay, we're split. All right. Older. Okay. All right, we're a little bit split. Now, that's interesting. If you've got a reason why you're older, so for me, I maybe would have said younger. And here's my reason for me. Like I said, there's no right or wrong answer. But for me, I got a secure job, right? But I don't really love it. My younger self would say, screw this place. I'm going to take the risk and I'm going to go try it. Because my younger self's like, I got nothing but time, right? My older self is a little bit more conservative, a little bit more cautious, a little bit more like, even if I deserve better, and I know I deserve better, if maybe I don't love the job or whatever, but if it still pays well or whatever, I may still go, not trying to, I don't want to be as risky. So that's just my answer. Some of you said older, and that's perfectly fine because you're in a different place, wisdom-wise too. Quit a civil service job. So, okay, number 2. That's good. You got to be quick on your responses because we got 20 minutes left. So we're getting through this. I got some more discussion questions for you. Round 2. You're absolutely convinced you're right during an argument with your wife or your husband. Who handles the next 10 minutes better? Your younger self or your older self? Okay, let's rephrase that question. You're absolutely convinced that you're right during an argument with your significant other. Who handles the next 10 minutes better? Older or younger? Older. I'm going to chime in for me and say definitely older. You're right, honey. I'm sorry. That's right. I've learned. When I was younger, man, I don't know. I argued. I wanted to be right. I don't know. I definitely argued my point, thinking that I was always could do no wrong. In my older years, I definitely learned to give in. Now, there are plenty of times, too, when I absolutely know I'm right, and I still let the other person be right, just because I don't want the argument. It's not worth the hassle. So, for me, the older. John says the younger. So, John, you were outvoted on that one, but there is no right or wrong answer, but your younger self would have handled it better. All right, money, round 3. Jeez, I'm screwed on all these. You suddenly get an unexpected $5,000. Free $5,000, unexpected. Who makes the better decision with it, younger or older? My younger self goes to the casino, puts it on black. Right? My older self pays off debt or invests it, or definitely my older self definitely does something smarter with the extra $5,000 than my younger self. Reckless and careless. Again, going back to my younger self, be smarter with money. That's what I'd be saying. G-Man's always been thrifty. That's good. I would actually say that I've probably always been pretty thrifty, but definitely in my younger years, I just did a lot of stupid things. But then I learned to be pretty good penny pincher. Now I'm a pretty good budgeter, pretty good with the finances and the bills and things like that. All right, number 4. Somebody asked you to do something completely spontaneous that wasn't in the plan. Ooh, that's a good example. Someone asked you to do something completely spontaneous that wasn't in the plan. Who's more likely to say yes? Older you or younger you? I gotta think about that. I would probably say my younger. Everyone's saying younger. I'd probably say the younger me was maybe a little more spontaneous or whatever. But the older me is less embarrassed, right? So the younger me, I mean, I used to get on stage and sing, right? In a band. We were never famous or anything. Don't worry about that. But we did it, right? And sometimes I look back and go, I did that? So there was part of me that had more nerve on certain things, but at the same time, I think I was embarrassed more when I was younger. So sometimes if you would have asked me to get up and sing karaoke, let's say on a cruise ship, I would have probably never done that when I was younger, even though I'd get up on stage and sing to the band. But those were my songs that we wrote, things like that. So it was different. Now I'm probably more spontaneous and adventurous that way because I just don't give a crap, right? I don't care what people think. So if they're laughing, I assume they're laughing with me and not at me. A couple of you said older, a couple of you said younger on that one. Okay. And I'm pretty spontaneous. I don't need a big plan. I don't need a big adventure. If my wife said, hey, let's go to Disneyland tomorrow, I'd call in sick and let's go. You know what I mean? So I can be pretty spontaneous and adventurous that way still in my old age. All right, number 5. You're busy and someone you care about calls just to talk. Who understands the value of answering that call better? Your younger self or your older self? We talked about a similar situation like this last week or the week before? But I think most of you are going to say older, because I think as we get older, we value relationships. We've already mentioned here tonight, as we get older. I mean, I'm 54. Some of you are older than me. How many of you are younger than me? Show of hands if you're younger. We don't get a real young audience. 40 is probably about the youngest. We don't, according to my YouTube demographics, I don't think I'm big with the 30-year-olds. You know what I mean? But I think it's we understand the value of relationships because people are dying, right? Make that phone call before it's too late. Pick up that call. Stop what you're doing. Listen to a friend that may need just to talk. Maybe a child or a son or daughter that needs, some guidance or direction, or just needs a mom to, listen and tell them, hey, honey, everything's going to be okay, right? Chairman's younger than me? What? I thought you were like 90. Just kidding. But yeah, my older self would definitely handle that better. Because I think I understand that people need things, and so sometimes they're reaching out for a reason, right? Just joking, Richard. All right, bonus round. Now, this is where it comes down to you. You give us, all of us here, someone, all of you, whatever, give us a situation in the chat. And I'll tell you whether I would have handled it better at 25 or 54, my younger or older self. If you've got one. Maybe some of these things have spawned a thought or two in your brain. And if not, I'll go on to the next set of questions. Maybe we'll jar some discussion there. I wanted tonight to be a little more conversational than just me talking. So, all right, you go into Incredible Universe. You apply for a credit card. They give you an $1,800 credit limit. Who handles it better, older or younger? For me, definitely older. We've already discussed that one. All right, moving on. Nobody wants to participate on that one. All right, so I'm going to ask some questions. Let's see if this spurs any conversation. Participate if you want. If not, maybe I'll just pontificate a little bit. But would you tell your 25-year-old self, what would you tell your 25-year-old self if you only had 10 minutes? If you only had 10 minutes, oh man. I think I would probably say something, mushy, like cherish life, cherish time, value people and relationships. None of it lasts forever. Don't being willing to, chase the good things in life. You don't have to. Chasing the bad things in life aren't going to bring happiness. Surround yourself with people that buoy you up and not that tear you down. If you meet a narcissist, ditch them immediately. Those are the kind of things I'd say. John says, enjoy the ride. It's going to be a great one. Absolutely, man. Jen says, I've always been single, so me at any age. All right. Tell the people that you love them. Yeah, tell the people that you love them. I think that's a big one. That's hard for some people. I don't know why. 3 little words, I love you. Some people have a real tough time spitting that out. Some people are good at showing it, but not good at saying it. I think it takes a combination of both. I think it's a combination of verbal and action. And really, trying to show the people and let the people that really matter to you the most know that you care. I agree with that, Sharon. Number 2, we're going to bust through some of these because we only have 10 minutes left. What did you worry about when you were younger that seems ridiculous now? Oh, that's a good one. What did you worry about when you were younger that seems ridiculous? I know my answer. The future. Anything that is future tense. There's an old saying, regret keeps you in the past, worry keeps you in the future, and they both rob you of the only thing you can control, which is the present. So, worry is a waste of time. Worry hasn't happened yet. Probably do a whole episode on this one. But worry is just a myth. I've got a daughter. If she watches this, she knows which one she is. Man, she is a worry wart. She worries about everything. And I constantly have to remind her, it doesn't matter. Stop worrying about it. It hasn't happened yet. Deal with it when and if it happens. I saw a statistic the other day, dang it. I'm not good at remembering things like that, but it was a very, very, very high number. A very, very, very high percentage of the things that we worry about never come to pass. So, I just don't need to worry about it. What's a mistake you had to make before you could understand the lesson? All right, that one's easy for me. That's finances, credit, budgeting, spending. We were horrible when we were little. We were little. It makes it sound like I was 8. In our 20s, we were horrible. Okay? We were horrible. We definitely had to learn the lesson the hard way. Have you also noticed that too, that there's people who, I've had to learn the lesson the hard way a few times by going through it, but I'm very, what's the word? Observational. I observe other people around and I can pull the lessons that I see and go, okay, I don't want to do that. John said marriage, divorce. That's a mistake you had to make before you could understand the lesson. Absolutely, man. That hurts, you know? And sometimes you may be going, whew, dodged a bullet, got out of that one. But other times it may be like, that really stung. You know, that really is hard. Here's another question. What do you think would make you happy? Oh, what did you think would make you happy that ultimately didn't? Yeah, what do you think would make you happy that ultimately didn't? I think a lot of people might say money, because again, I don't think money really buys happiness. It buys some options, which some can lead to happiness. You know, having options is better than not having options. But oh, ouch, Sharon, marriage, that could very well be. And here's the catch. I'm going to play off that one. Not part of the questions, but if you have the attitude of, well, if this, then that. Like, if I get whatever, then I'll be happy. If I could make $1 million, then I would be happy. You'll make $1 million, you won't be happy. Because happiness really is a choice. It's a state of mind. And only you can kind of control your ultimate state. So now I'm not saying that a difficult spouse or something like that couldn't contribute to your anxiety, couldn't contribute to your unhappiness. But at the end of the day, you know, you can't say, well, I'll be happy when. You've got to make a decision to be happy now. The job you got after college. Yeah. Who do you wish you would have spent more time with? Next question. Who do you wish you would have spent more time with? We've got a few of these. I'm going to buzz through them. We've got 8 minutes. I definitely have some friends that I wish I would have spent more time with. I think in my younger years, I would have spent more time with my kids when they were young. Oh, your grandma. Yeah. Oh, man. I wish I could go. When my grandparents died when I was pretty young. I mean, the last one was probably like when I was like a late teenager. So I didn't really have the mental and emotional wherewithal to like, I wish I could sit them down and just say, tell me stories about your life. What were you like when you were 16? You know, what were you like when you were 25? What were you like when you were 40? What are your biggest life lessons? What are your biggest regrets? You know, what's the absolute worst thing you ever did in your life? You know, what's the coolest thing you ever did in your life? I wish I could spend more time with them. And even, you're right. JC says, parents. Yeah, my mom and dad, man. I wish I knew my mom and dad pretty well, but I didn't take the time getting to know who they were. Now, I think I was going to tell you this last week. I tell the same stories over and over, so I apologize if I mentioned this last week. I put it out there to my kids. Tell me what you think about this. I put it out there to my kids, and I said, I want to go out and have like a campfire. We could have a weenie roast. We could roast some marshmallows, like whatever you guys want to do. But I want to gather the family around a campfire. Why? Because it's just, you know, up in the mountains, you get the cell phones put away. It's just us. We can talk, right? I don't want to do it in one of my kids' living rooms. And what I want to do is I just want to sit them down and tell them the stories that I won't tell on YouTube, right? The things that I'm not going to tell in church. I'm not going to tell on YouTube. I'm not going to tell even my best friends necessarily, right? I want to sit them down and tell them, like, pardon my French, but real shit that happened in my life, right? tell them real life stories, things that I saw, things that I experienced, things that I experimented, right? I mean, I want to tell them those things. And a couple of my kids are like, oh, dude, I want to hear all that stuff. And like a couple of my kids were like, well, I don't want you to trauma dump and like give me all your problems. I'm like, no. I was trying to explain that, number one, even if it was like, let's say a bad thing, I've healed and mended or whatever. So I'm not expecting you to cry with me, to laugh with me, to take on any of my burdens, to any of that. I just want to tell you about the experiences that that happened in my life that really helped mold me into the husband and the father and the grandparent that I am. Because those are some things that I just never knew about my mom and dad, my grandma and grandpa, let alone, ancestors that are dead. But Sharon says, I told my son some stories. He was like, whoa, Mom. Yeah, right? There may be some of that. But I mean, and again, it's not like, oh, here's all my sins and transgressions. I'm going to barf all over you. But no, I think they go, holy crap, you did that? What? And they just maybe come to a place of understanding. Because every experience that we've had has brought us up to the point that we're at right now. And certainly, sometimes there's things that we wish we could take back. There's things we could we could go back and unexperience, right? If you were the victim of something, bad, you wish you could go back and not have to do that. But then again, there's times when I go, man, I'm so thankful for all of my trials, all the experiences, everything I've been through, positive, negative, scary, whatever, because every single one of them twisted me and shaped me and molded me into who I am today. And I'm pretty comfortable with who I am today. I like me. I think I like my personality. I know that I'm a good husband. I know that I'm a good dad. I know I've got a good relationship with my kids. So I like who I've become. It's not always a straight shot there. It's been a rocky road to get here. And now I'm on this weight loss journey. I like where I'm going. I can see it in my head. I know what it's going to be like when I reach the goal. But we're not there yet. It's still part of the journey. We're still learning. We're still growing. It's experiencing life every single day. But I guess give me your opinion. Not that it matters, but give me your opinion. Would you do something like with your kids? Is that a cool thing to offer, or is that like, don't go there, dude? I don't know. You like me too. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. That's good. I'm glad we have at least a few fans, a few people who recognize what I'm trying to do here with the audience and the community. The scandalous me has made me a better me now. Yeah, right. It's all part of him. Caden, you should do some campfire episodes with us. I work with Caden. We could do a work campfire. Oh man, that'd be like all night long. We could tell stories. All right, in closing, we only got a couple of minutes left. Last shameless plug. Hey, if I help you in any way, I'm sharing my journey. I'm trying to be honest. I'm trying to I'm trying to be real with the successes, hopefully without being cocky or arrogant. I'm trying to share the downsides, the things I struggle with, my setbacks. When I fall into that bag of potato chips and just happen to swallow it all, I share that too. And then I try and do these things where hopefully I teach and pass on a little bit of wisdom, knowledge, things I've gained in my 54 years, and have good discussions here on the lives. If I've helped you in any sort of way, if you're motivated at all by me, if I'm helping you along your own quest and your own journey of life, you can say thanks by just giving a simple tip. It's like a tip jar. You can leave a super chat and super thanks on the videos. It's pennies and compared to what I get. I make pennies on the videos. It's not an income stream, but I do want to kind of get better quality stuff all the time. So right now, every dime I make just goes back into the channel. We're almost to the point where I could cash out my first YouTube check of $500. But okay, we're gonna go over my hour here. But I got discouraged yesterday. Honestly, I watched a video of this old lady. Well, sorry, she's 63. She's older than me, younger than some of you. And she's retired, and she's just talking in front of the camera like me, and I'm going, well, like, she's sweet. To be honest, nothing that special. And she's like, oh, I've been doing this for like 7 or 8 months, and I got monetized on YouTube in like 12 days, and here's what I've made over on YouTube. I want to be honest about it. And she's made $5,600 over the last 6 months on YouTube, and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? You know what I mean? She had 28,000 subscribers. She had a video take off and have like a couple 100,000 views. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude. This is definitely just a hobby. We're sharing the journey. We're trying to make some changes on myself and hopefully affect some people along the way like yourselves. So feel free. You can always leave a tip in the supers. Other than that, guys, we're getting together as a community. Thank you for watching. Your watch time, your comments, especially the positive comments mean a lot to me. It really helps keep me going. Hopefully my support and encouragement to you helps keep you going, and we make good changes and we enjoy the journey together and as a community, and we keep going and we keep striving to hit the goal. And when we're there, we're going to set new goals and maintain where we're at and strive for new things. So appreciate you guys tuning in. Yeah, these lives are a little bit different. They're not just like, pranks and entertainment, but we're trying to actually, talk about real things and make a difference in our lives. So appreciate you guys. Good night. We'll be back with another weight loss topic tomorrow. No, tomorrow's Thursday. It's story time. If I can come up with a story, I'll do a story time video. They're not that popular, but like I said, it's kind of more for my posterity than anything anyway. Then Friday we'll be back with a weight loss topic. So anyway, we're doing it daily. We're doing it daily and making it happen. So hit a new low today, 227 even. So let's keep that trend up, and we'll see you tomorrow. Good night. Dude. Out.